Yours will be good. But I can happily play under the
nice.
Hello everybody, and we're live this morning. As you could hear in the background, Tom's arch enemy, Mr. Bonacor, is holding up my first guest. We were supposed to have Mike Fitzgerald on, but it looks like Mr. Bonacor is holding him up. Don't know exactly what that means, but I'll answer some question and answer until Mike gets here. We're not going to let the other guy show up on the show. Tom told me specifically not to let him. So
I'll be on the show. Don't worry.
How's everyone doing this morning? Say hi if you want. Send me some questions. Then, as you can see, we have a big slate of guests today. We have Mike Fitzgerald coming up very shortly. Then we have Rob Daviau. If those of you are excited about Fireball Island, then this is a good thing. If you then we have Frank DeLorenzo from R&R Games. Then we have Matt Leacock, who's going to talk about pandemic and a bunch of things. And finally, we have Konieczka from Fancy Flight, who's done all of those Star Wars things. He's done Imperial Assault and X-Wing, and he did Rebellion. So we have a whole bunch of great guests coming on today, and just like yesterday, you'll get to ask the questions to them. So let's see what questions you have for me while I wait here. What do I think of Feudum? I haven't played it yet. I know Tom said that I would like it. He said it's a Euro-ish game and that I would like it, so I'm looking forward to playing it. I've seen a bunch of copies here at the gathering, so I figure there's a chance that I'll get to play it soon. It's funny, Tom. They have a prize table at the gathering, for those that don't know, where everyone puts a game in, and then they call you up one by one, and you get to take a game back. So it's sort of like a math trade kind of thing, but more fun, like a raffle math trade. And Tom actually put Feudum into it, so it's kind of funny that people are asking about Feudum. Let's see what else we've got here. When am I going to get Tom to play Food Chain Magnate live? I'm hoping soon. Tom actually is excited about it. Interesting thing is, I was talking with the spotter guys here, and it looks like they're working on something. They're way low in the development chain, so don't, obviously this is probably not even for this lesson, maybe in a year, maybe 2 years. They're working on trying to figure out an expansion for it, or a module for it, which sounds really exciting. I mean, I'd love to see more. I love the game. As you know, it was my number 3 of all time, so I would like to see more for Food Chain as well. Let's see what else. Have I played Fireball Island yet? Yes. Yes, and it's amazing. If you haven't gotten in on that Kickstarter yet, you need to. We played yesterday. It was me, Tom Z, and I came away with the most treasure. And I came away with the heart. I came away with the heart of Valkar in this one. Tom had it, but I stole it from him along the way. And he was the one who was crazy enough to go up there to get it, but then I was the one who was able to steal it from him and sneak in. It's fun. It's a blast. You're running around, you're picking up treasure, and you're trying to get back. I think when Rob comes on later, he is going to have the game, well, as much as we can see here, because we're using a webcam today, and as you know, we have low lighting. I'll try to adjust it a little, but this room isn't really good, and we didn't bring all the equipment that we would normally bring for a full day of live casting, so that's why everything looks the way it does. But we're trying our best out here. And yes, Fireball Island, I highly recommend it. If you haven't Kickstarted yet, get in. It is amazing. We had such a fun time yesterday, and I think Rob's gonna have something really cool here to show you later, which I don't want to spoil. I'd like to have him show it, but when you see this, you're gonna be like, wow. What did I think of Clans? Clans of Caledonia, I assume that is. I like the game a lot. I love the asymmetrical powers. I love, the whole, I have to build this, I have to get cows in order to get cheese, and I really like the game. I like the spreading around on the map. I like how the contracts come up at different times. Clans of Caledonia is a game that I enjoy very much. The Mr. E, what is this room? So this room is called the Jade Room. It's kind of an offshoot of the main hallway, and it's an offshoot of the main hallway. And what happens is that the main ballroom is where everyone is, but we're off in an offshoot room. This is kind of the room where the publishers who come and the designers who come kind of work together, and they do their deal. So in case you're wondering why Mike is busy with Steven, it's not just as a joke. It's because Mike is showing off a new game to Steven that, you know, Steven probably will be publishing very shortly. We'll see if we get Mike to talk about the game. I don't not know if he will, but we'll ask him when he gets on here, and you'll find out all about what they're doing over there. But this is where a lot of deals are made, and this is where a lot of things happen in this little private room off the offshoot, kind of an enclosed room where the publishers and designers can just sit and talk. But in general, the gathering's interesting because a lot of designers that you're going to get to talk to here, they bring their prototypes, they bring their games that they're ready for, and when they do, oh,
there's the delay.
We have. Yes, there's the delay.
I want to see my face on camera here. It's not coming up.
You gotta wait 15 seconds.
Because Tom doesn't want me to curse or something?
No. So we have a surprise guest here. And
surprise annoying guest?
He's supposed to be on tomorrow on the show. I was just talking about how, you know, what goes on here. I mean, it's very interesting. Like this, they asked me what this room is and why there's no one here, and I explained that this is kind of the publisher room where publishers kind of make deals with designers, and this is a good place for designers to test their new games and get feedback.
It's just a more quiet room where you can do whatever you want. The main, I'm sure you've gone around with the main room is kind of busy.
I have, yeah.
But there's just extra space. I've just been holding meetings here, but that's not I told Tom that table over there is my table. He cannot go near my table. It's nice and quiet and big and round. So, but hey everybody, good to be here. We'll be on tomorrow though.
Are we allowed to talk about what Mike was showing you?
Let Mike talk about what Mike was showing us. How about that? Let Mike make an announcement, maybe.
So here we go.
Maybe Mike will make an announcement.
We're going to have one of the first announcements here on the show about a surprise, which I might have already known about, but everyone else, you guys are going to find out.
You didn't know about it. We just did something. Never mind.
I have a feeling I know what was going on over there.
Okay, Mike is here. Bye, everybody. But I'll see you tomorrow.
The question is, should we let this guy back on? I mean, he now stole some time. Do you guys want to see him tomorrow, or should I not invite him back after him delaying everything?
All right.
Okay, we'll let him in.
Take it over, Mike.
We'll see you, Steven. Okay, so Mike's back here.
Woo! Yeah.
And here we are. So you were just over there.
I was.
And I was telling everyone how this is kind of the room where designers and publishers get together to look at games, decide if they're going to do stuff. Tell me about. I've been given permission by Tom's arch enemy, Mr. Bonacore, who has ruined the beginning of this show. Well, actually, no. It's not been so bad because people have been interacting with me, and I luckily the fans like me as well as everyone else. But tell me about what you were showing there.
Well, I was showing him the what I guess you'd call maybe the follow-up game to Diamonds.
The follow-up game to Diamonds. Like I said, you guys are going to hear this first right now.
And Steven is taking it, so we're
Steven signed it. Well, so a follow-up game to Diamonds. Do you guys remember the game Diamonds, the trick-taking game? It's such an incredible
it's still
game.
Selling, Jason.
I know.
It sells very well.
I'm not saying anything about it.
It's not the game from the '60s, but yeah, no, it was a surprise. I mean, it was a surprise to me how well it did, but I felt it was special. Because anybody can play it. It's interesting enough for hobby players, and it got to the mass market through that because they would play with other people. So it's a nice game, and I felt there was room for doing something different with the same system. The system is that suit action system, where you get to do an action when you win the trick, and when you play off suit, you get to do the action immediately, which you're going to have in this game has even more impact than in Diamonds. And then there's a wild card called the faux diamond, which sells the lead diamond and moves the track. There's a little bit of a stock market in the game, but not a sensible one. There are several boards you can use. Anyway, we're very excited about it. So it's a 2019 release, and it's going to be great. They do, a Stronghold obviously does a great job with these games. So.
Yes, it's. I mean, I love Diamond, so I'm looking forward to seeing the new. I've already seen there's a bunch of comments going by about how much they love Diamonds. I mean, you can see there Johnny is saying how Diamond's the mainstay for his group.
Well, I hope they'll also enjoy this one. And the idea is it moves up a little. I mean, a teeny bit in choices and things you're going to do, but still very simple rule set that will be easily understood by everybody.
No, that's great. That's great to know. I mean, I can't wait to see the twists and turns, kind of like Diamonds 2.0. I can't wait to see everything. So it's going to be exciting. I mean, I love trick-taking games, and it's one of the best trick-taking games that I've played in a long time.
Well, thank you very much. There certainly are a lot of them coming out now, which I think is great. They're interesting, and there's so much you can do with that system. So it's nice.
Oh, so I see a whole bunch of things here. People are talking about your voice. For those that don't know, before Eric, Mike used to be the voice of the Dice Tower, weren't you?
Yes, and before that, well, actually during that time, but I was in radio, so I was a disc jockey, radio personality, whatever you want to call the people that talk on the radio, for 44 years. So I guess that's what people can pick up a little bit, or they recognize the voice from the Dice Tower days. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't do any of the video work with us because video started after Eric moved on.
Well, people can see why I don't do that.
No, give us your best. You've been watching the Dice Tower.
You've been watching the Dice Tower.
See, Eric, watch out. Mike might come back. So, you have other stuff, baseball highlights. This has been a hit as well.
It's hits are hits, right? It hasn't been. It's not the biggest selling game, and I knew it wouldn't be, but it has. I love it because there's a loyal audience who keeps spreading the game for me. So every month I'm reading new reviews, people just discovering it. It's really a nice feeling. The game has outperformed what I could have hoped for. It's certainly shows no sign of slowing up, and we have a lot more products coming for it. I had a lot of requests right away. Well, you could do this with other sports games, right? You could have a lot of fun doing that. And I wasn't interested at first because the card system came out of designing the baseball game, and it was just perfect for baseball. So there were two problems if I'm going to do another sport. I have to figure out how in a relatively quick playing game, how to get all the scores possible in the sport, and how to find what is the most fun in the sport. What's going to be the most fun thing they do that will work in a card game? Because first, it has to be a good, solid card game with tactics and strategy, and make card players, no matter if you're a fan or not of the sport, make card players happy. And
yes.
So that did work with baseball. I didn't know if it would, but fans like it for baseball. Even if you're not a baseball fan, not that I can't guarantee you'll like it, but certainly a lot of people that aren't baseball fans love playing the game. In fact, we changed the rule book recently, so the new edition of the rule book approaches it as if you never played a baseball game, so, or don't know anything about baseball, because it's doing pretty well in Europe and those kind of things. So, long story short, I did figure out a way to do football. So
yep, you can see we've already been getting. I saw a comment that just said football.
Yes, football.
Right back here. Dan said football, and then he wrote again. I haven't tried baseball highlights, but football highlights is an instant buy.
Okay.
Tell us how it's going to be different. I mean, I love football. I mean, everyone loves football. You're going to get to play the Super Bowl now.
Yes, you are. Now the thing about football is there's more good football games out there than there was with baseball. So, first of all, to make it clear, these are not simulation games, but I can tell you about the great simulation games because I play them all. I'm a big sports fan.
Stratomatic.
Yeah, there's one called Second Season by my friend Keith Avalon, which is fantastic. So if you want to feel the sport, if you like watching the sport on TV and you want that experience, you can get it. So I'm not out designing any of those people. What I was looking for, and there's good ones in the hobby market too, First and Goal, and there's all kinds of excellent stuff with team selection. They're fun games. I had to stay with my mission, which is find a way to do a good tactical strategy card game that has the theme of football. So I did do that. It took a long time to figure out how it was going to work. So I'm leaving a lot of football out, but so far here at the show, and my other playtesting, everybody instantly says they know they're playing a football game. They feel like football.
I think I'm going to need to play this. I'm looking to get like the cyborg Tom Brady who throws touchdowns on every play in my deck for this.
Yeah, well, it is not a deck builder. It's a drafting game. So that's the first big change. However, the card play will remind you of baseball, but it's not the same exactly. But there are two fields, but they're connected. You have 45 yards to go to score a touchdown. This is 2052, and the big thing was football became boring compared to the 2045 version of baseball. So
I can imagine.
So we got to do something. They're saying the sport's loose, so they don't like watching people kick kickoffs. They don't like watching these soccer players kick field goals automatically from wherever they are. So like baseball, there's a modern future feel, but there's a nostalgic art sense and a nostalgic play sense. Because what happens in this game, every player plays both offense and defense.
Yes.
So we're back to the old days. So every card will be a player, and you play the card first as a defense. Once the first player, say, has established, he has to play a card with the offense first. But the cards have both on them. So every choice you make, you're trying to find the best defense for the play that just got played, and you're looking ahead. You're married now to that offense because you switch the card around, and then you have that offense.
Yeah.
And then so that is not realistic football.
Yes, it is Iron Man football. They played that in like the 1920s and now the 2050s.
Playing both sides, absolutely. But what's not realistic is in football, your defense for one play is not going to result in a certain offensive play. But what that does do is give me a good tactical strategic card game.
Yes.
And a good basis for drafting and a good basis for being able to have all the scores because there are two fields. For some of you that haven't played baseball, this is going to seem weird. That's all I can say. But it's not too bad. There's a teeny bit of wonkiness that you have to get over in sort of the play, but then it flows. I think everybody, of course, at first says, "Wow, this is even better than the baseball game." But that's a new and shiny. But I think it's as good. It's a deeper game, so people like a little more strategy. You're playing a football game in about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're playing. That's drafting. That's halftime adjustment draft. That's the whole game. And that's a good time for a football game.
Yes.
It's not the 3 hours it takes to watch it. And there's no commercials and none of the boring stuff. Every card you play could result in a touchdown.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. I mean, we're gonna have to play it this week because I love football.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see it. Johnny has a quick question here.
Sure.
Hockey 2066.
Hockey.
Or basketball 2069.
Yeah, I said this after baseball, and people asked me what's the next one and stuff, and I said I really didn't have any plans at that point. I was working on it, but I couldn't figure out how to get the results. Now the problem for soccer and basketball in this kind of game is in soccer there is not enough scoring. In basketball, there's way too much.
Yeah.
So the scoring has to be in a much more set range than in football or baseball, where you have pretty wide. In the football, you can have a 10-3 game, you can have a 52-48 game we had the other day. After I watched the Super Bowl, I said to myself, well, I'm going to change. I'm going to up the curve of this game because
the Super Bowl.
You've got to be able this past year. You've got to have some points.
Never they scored that high.
No, I know.
That was a record.
But I'd like to be able to say, it's not regular. The regular game is in the NFL average, which is in the 20s for both teams, or low 30s. But you can have lower scoring, and you can certainly get those big games once in a while. So.
Ha! Someone said you should make curling 2066 just for Eric. But
You know, I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it. I'm also looking at creating my own sport, though, because that maybe has some of these other sports, because I really would like to, make sure I keep that card system that can result in interesting play.
Yeah. So here's, I can see my next guest over there, Rob Daviau. So if you guys have questions for him, he might have a surprise to show you. But before then, you had worked on something with him, a mystery rummy.
Well, I didn't work on it. I mean, it's my design, but I did ask way back. I asked Rob. I said, "Listen, do you have any plans to do a card game, that has these elements?" And he didn't at the time. Later on, it was what do you think I'm Iron Man or something like that? Because he was involved in so many projects at that time.
Yeah.
And so he said, "No, you do that." So I tried, but these are the hardest games to do. The
legacy style.
The legacy style game is just very difficult. But so I spent 3 years, and I had a part where I had to start completely over. So I found out it didn't work at episode 10. And I'm writing and getting everything in line, and it just didn't. The idea that I had to drive the whole thing didn't work. So I got my friend Ralph Anderson, who's worked with me for years, and he goes back to Jack the Ripper with me. We worked on that together.
Yes.
So he was the man for baseball highlights. He had just joined Eagle Griffin when they took the game. I didn't even know. And I thought, Ralph's there. Okay, good. Hey, Ralph, we're going to work together. And it was such a good relationship. I asked him to bail me out. So he straightened me out. Let's just make a game. Let's not try to reinvent how games are played or anything else. And let's make it fun. And let's do things that affect things and have all the stuff in those kind of games. So we were finished. And I can announce, I'm 3 for 3 this week, basically. I can announce that the Detective Rummy has been signed by WizKids and will be out in 2019. I already told you about Faux Diamonds is the working title. It may not be the end title, and Football Highlights 2052 has been signed by Eagle Griffin Games and is also going to come out in 2019. It will have its Kickstarter in the fall of this year. So.
Well, we'll have to talk about Detective Rummy another time, but is it still Legacy like you had originally envisioned?
We don't call it that. We call it a game changer. You're playing a series of cases, but they are related. The characters change, and they're in permanent ways. So it's Legacy-like, certainly. I think all the Legacy games sort of approach it a little differently than each other.
Yes.
And I have it here. I'm about to go and actually start running through it with some of the players here.
Excellent. Looking forward to that as well. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank
Mike.
you, Jason. Thank you, everyone, for the support and this is the best hobby because when someone likes a game and gets passionate about it, it's just a lot of fun to be involved. So thank everyone out there.
So now we got Rob coming on in about 2 seconds here. I see the thing that you guys have been asking about since the beginning. So if you have questions, especially Fireball Island questions, just start shooting them out now because Rob's going to come in here and I see some stuff with him, which is pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah, very exciting.
Hey, congrats on signing all this.
Yeah.
So it's funny, here comes Rob in here, and
no, it's actually white. It's all just vacuum-formed plastic.
You're now known as two different things. You obviously Legacy. We were just talking about how Mike was doing the Mystery Rummy Legacy, and you've been known for a while to be the Legacy man to do all these Legacy games. But now you have restoration games, and you have this.
Yeah, it's all. I was all stickers. Now I'm all marbles. It's all about ball bearings these days and marbles. Stickers are a thing of the past. This is an impossible game to show on your lap. But
I'll help with this. We could even try to put it together.
We're gonna set up. I gotta figure out. Yeah, I got it the right way. Here's Fireball Island.
Look at this. This is incredible.
So you can see there's 3 trays and they stack. Each one is like a vacuum formed tray, and then there's trees that go into it. And I don't have an extra hand, so I can't bring Bulkar out quite yet. So I'll get him out here in a second. So it also doesn't probably show well sideways. So let's see if I can do this without pieces
I'm
falling
going
off.
to tilt things like this.
There you go. Here's the island itself with the different paths where the marbles go and the paths that you walk on. Volcar himself sits up here. There's caves. There's spaces for treasures. A little helipad. Whole thing.
We played this last night, and I had a blast with it.
Who won?
I've already told them that I beat Tom in this. I won, Tom didn't.
Hey, you also beat Z, right?
I also beat Z, yes.
You flicked him, I think, clear off the island at the end. I can't remember.
Yes. I sent him off the island. He never made it back to the helicopter. So obviously, for people who don't know, this is a game. You're dropping marble. You're running around these pieces, and then you're dropping marbles down. I enjoy it much. Someone already asked a question I saw go by: is do you need to have played the first game to understand this one?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a light game. It's a family game. It's really meant for kids and people who want to flick marbles and have a silly time. So the rules are light. You can be up and going in about 5 minutes. There are expansions that add some weight to it. A little more take that, a little bit more strategy. But even then, it would never even get close to midweight game. I mean, it's flicking marbles. But no, you don't need to have played the original. We tried to include enough little homages to the original in this one, like stealing a gem and certain locations and stuff. But it's a reboot rather than a reprint.
Well, that's what restoration does, is
Yep.
restores and modernizes the game, so this is perfect. Let's see what else we have here. Peter is asking, if you only can afford the base game right now, will expansions be available later on?
Yeah, all the expansions will be available at retail. There is a treasure trove, a box of bonus cards, which if you back the Kickstarter you get for free, but even if you decide later or you missed it or you can't afford it, that we will be selling that treasure trove of cards on our website when we're done. So everything we're doing will be available at retail, even some of the add-ons like painted figures and
That's
and card
amazing.
sleeves.
So we're getting a ton of questions here.
Okay.
Obviously, this is Fireball Island is a hot topic for our audience, as you can
I'm
see.
here.
During your current tour, what rules have you tried out so far have actually been great that you will implement?
We simplified and streamlined the rules a little bit on the Kickstarter right now. It had our first rules, and we're in the middle of development. We're going to put up the new rules maybe later this week. Mostly we just got rid of things that weren't working rather than adding things. And it's just, it's a game with physics. So you ask, like, what if I'm on this space? Where do I stand up? What if I get knocked off the island? What if I end up pinned under a tree root? So there's these little things. We're just trying to keep it simple. So mostly it was clarifying. The scoring got simplified, and we got rid of cards that when you draw them cause Volcar to just go off on his own. Just because it caused all sorts of weird rules loops issues that weren't worth resolving for a game of this lightness. But no, it was mostly just cleaning up our original ideas rather than adding anything.
Speaking of the tour, you had something really cool yesterday that we saw there. So there's a road case that this is in. You want to tell everyone about this road case?
Yeah, J.R. Honeycutt, who's our developer, is spending about a month taking Fireball Island on a tour. He took like a day and a half off so I could take this for the gathering. And it's in this giant travel case that he's having everyone who plays sign it, and then if you win, you put a star next to it, the name. So we did that. So as I've been playing it here, I've been having gaming luminaries.
That's not us.
And Jason signed the case. We got Matt Leacock on there, and Eric Lang on there, and Phil Walker Harding, and Rodney Smith just played and won.
Nice.
So you guys are in the winner's bracket. He got the star.
Well, I'm gonna have to tell Tom that only cool videographers get a star. Tom unfortunately had to play with me and didn't get his star.
Yeah, I think it's a really good move for you to say that to Tom.
So speaking of us, Peter is asking a question here, and now I have thoughts in my head. Would you ever consider having minis resembling any of the Dice Tower staff?
No.
I was thinking Kickstarter 2019.
Actually, Sam just played, and he picked someone. He's like, "Hey, it's me."
I'm not getting whatever. Sam got one.
You can decide you're one of the figures. Now we did just a cross section of terrified tourists.
Yes, no, the figures look great.
Male and female. Well, there's one. If you get the Last Adventure expansion, he's actually heroic, and everyone else just looks like they were dropped into the worst day of their life. But what I like is you get dropped off on an island. It's obviously filled with terrors, and the helicopter rolls away. And instead of banding together, everyone immediately starts running around and attacking each other. Like it's Lord of the Flies in one turn, and then that's it. Everyone's just feral. Headshots galore.
Oh, this sounds. I mean, I didn't get to play with everything. There was these expansions and other things like the pirate boat, and there's so much going on in
There's so much, yeah. Each of the expansions has actually mini modules that you can use one or both, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Bees. You can use the tiger or the bees or both. And in the last adventure, you can use the snakes, the boulder, the player powers, and any sort of combination. The Wreck of the Crimson Cutlass, which is our pirate island, you really have to use all of that or none of that.
Well, you should be using, when you guys at home play, you know me, you use everything of everything. Just throw it all in there. It makes
it all in there. It makes it a longer game, but there's a lot of cool things that we have are either developing or finalizing or announcing or doing as stretch goals. And my goal is to both be very excited about new things and then make sure we don't make a mess.
Yes. So, Jokin or Jochin, I'm not good at people's names here, especially if you're from Europe, asks, will the die for the caves be used for anything else as well, and have you thought about that?
We have tried to put into a couple cards. So far, the cards didn't work, not because of the die, just because we didn't use it right. We are looking for ways to use the die. It's a 3-sider, so we're looking for other ways to use it right now. I don't think there's anything in the set that has withstood playtesting, but we'd like to get it in there more because we're making a die and giving it to you, so we'd like to have more of it.
Well, here's another one that I don't know if you can answer yet, but how big is the box going to be, and will it be easily broken?
Here's the box size. It is approximately 12 inches by 18 inches by 6.5 inches tall, so it's Gloomhaven-esque.
Yeah.
It's much lighter. I mean, this isn't everything in here. It's more of a volume than a weight. Everything but the pirate island will fit in here.
Nice. And the pirate island will get its own
it gets its
box.
own box, which is like 12 by 12 that'll fit on it. We would have to make the base game like an extra 3 inches deep just to accommodate that, because it doesn't nest with the other ones due to its different structure.
Yeah, so we have another question here. Which expansion has been the most popular so far?
It's hard to say because what we're offering on the website is either you buy the base game or you buy all of them. It is possible if you just want one of them to, when, in the pledge manager, sort of the checkout screen at the end, to add a little extra money and just get one, but we won't know what's most popular until the Kickstarter's over.
Exactly. I think he's more asking with the playing.
With the playing, well, JR's been doing it most. I've had the pirate island at my house. I was doing a little bit of clay repairs to change some things that we didn't catch the first time. So that one sort of gets left out. I think people really like the boulder.
The boulder.
Yeah, it's like you didn't play with that, right? It was the next game I played. It's a boulder about this. I don't have it with me. It's about the size of a little bigger than a golf ball, and it's going to be out of like a Nerf-like foam that you put into any cave and then flick it and roll it.
It was huge. I was ready, if people were in the way, I was ready to knock over 3 people with that boulder.
Yeah. So we've added some new things. We've added in a snake idol or a golden idol. That's fun. So we've got these little different scoring things. Still working on the snakes, still working on the bees, but I think we've got those straightened out.
Oh, well, here's a question from Daryl is, how many other releases does Restoration have for 2018 kind of in your pipeline of?
Well, the official releases for this year is a Downforce expansion, which will be out in July, called Danger Circuit. It's a double-sided board, which adds different rules. It's it's more, I don't want to say complex. It's still pretty straightforward, but there's some different twists and turns to the board, and 6 new player powers. And we have a game called Dinosaur Tea Party, which is a delightful little game where you get to be a dinosaur at a tea party, and it's sort of a multiplayer Guess Who. It's very light. We had originally designed it for mass market as sort of a kids game, and that distribution sort of fell through, at least for this year, and we're putting it out anyway. It's kind of the opposite of something like Fireball Island, but it's very twee, and we're including a recipe for shortbread and a recipe for tea sandwiches, and we encourage you to use a bad British accent, or if you're British, just talk, right? And that would work out.
Okay, so here we go. More Fireball Island. I think most of the fans today are going to want to stay on Fireball Island. Any plans for more expansions? Ideas for them? More marbles? More stuff?
More. I mean, this is obviously done very well, and the question came up in the meeting yesterday. Okay, we're not done the Kickstarter, but let's at least start thinking about 2019 for expansions, provided it comes out and people are enjoying it as much as the playtests and the tour will lead us to think they will. We want to have expansions ready for 2019, so we have a couple on the shelf already, and they're going to come back to the front of the line as soon as the Kickstarters are. So yes, we have room for expansions. Marbles, I'm not quite sure. Marbles, from our research, tend to be marbles. They look better or they look worse, but they all kind of roll the same and they all kind of do the same thing. And we're not sure what the appeal would be of just giving people different marbles when they're pretty easy to go buy yourself, because they don't really do anything. You can't get marbles that are like off-center or roll heavier or do different things. So I'm not sure about marbles yet.
So another question, what do the cannons do? Are they just like trees on the main island?
They are. The cannons are like trees on the main island. There are a couple different ways that cannonballs and ember marbles can roll around the deck, and you use them to divert them from hitting you when you're on there, or hope.
And Peter has an idea for you for the next expansion, the helicopter pilot.
It's nice.
Or the helicopter pad, or something with the helicopter.
Well, we're looking at doing something dimensional with the helicopter in the game. It's a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not sure we've announced it.
Well, you guys heard it here first. This is what we're here for the Dice Towers.
This is it.
You're getting the exclusive news.
That's called a scoop.
It's called a scoop, and we scoop a lot. Like, I feel like I'm eating ice cream right now because
Yeah.
I've just scooped everyone on this. So, how exciting has this tour been? And, you know, the Kickstarter's going great. I mean, was this what you expected when you started this project?
This was on the, well, when we started it, no. As we get closer to the Kickstarter, you do all sorts of projections behind, like, you know, this is the worst case and this is the best case and this is where we think we'll be. And this is definitely at the higher end of what we projected. It was not outside the realm of possibility. I didn't believe it because I'm kind of a dour New Englander. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised, but it did not catch us completely by surprise. It was sort of like, oh, we're up at this upper end of the cone, not the lower end of the cone, and thank you, all of you who have backed it.
Well, now you have a whole bunch of, now you have developers here. Look, we've got a couple questions here. Co-op expansion.
On the radar.
Hitting goals that could be implemented.
On the radar.
There you go, guys. All these things that you're asking about on the radar. So I think there's more stuff coming out, a lot more.
Some stuff will be stretch goals, some stuff will be expansions, some things will be in the treasure trove cards as we get closer to the end of the Kickstarter. But everything you're mentioning has been part of our plans. It's just trying to make sure that we don't create a mess right out of the gate by doing too much too soon without having time to think it through.
So just tell me in general, I guess we'll end with this. And R&R is coming on next. So if you guys have questions for R&R, just make sure start getting them ready, and we'll be talking to the Dilorenzo very shortly. How was it a change for you? I mean, you've obviously gone from being a designer to now running a company. And tell me about the change from going from just designer to now you basically are in charge of restoration games.
Well, Justin's the president, and I leave a lot of the businessy stuff, not to him, we talk about it, but he does most of the day-to-day operations. Technically, I'm the Chief Creative Officer, but yeah, it is a change. I'll be 48 years old on Tuesday, like in a week.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you very much. So I'm moving into sort of the Lion of Winter phase of my career, which is weird because I still feel young. So I still spend about half my time doing original games because I like to do them. It's hands-on. I will probably be doing fewer of them in the next year or two because restoration has taken off in a very pleasant way. And then with restoration, I find myself in this role of creative director where I'm doing a little bit less of the day-to-day, still quite a bit, but as we grow and maybe bring people on or expand our line, I will be in a position of having people sort of executing vision that I create. And it's weird, just because I didn't expect to be doing it, but it's not unpleasant. It feels like a nice, fun thing to be doing at this part of my life.
Yeah, no.
Hey, happy birthday, John Wilder, April 24th.
Yes, Rob's reading along with everyone else. So, yes, happy birthday for everyone out there who's April 24th, which sounds like at least one of the people watching is.
Yeah.
And one of the people here is. So, if you're looking for a good birthday present, Fireball Island.
Well, if your birthday's in November or December, because that's when it'll be out.
Yes.
I wish I had the box with the graphics on it, because I've been in this industry 20 years and I can be like a little like, yes, I think that'll work. I saw this box on my table and I was just 8 years old picturing it being under a Christmas tree if one celebrates Christmas, or under as a birthday present, and just sort of the scope. And I almost get emotional. I'm going to try not to get emotional thinking about like bringing that sort of experience to like kids and families in December.
I'm already excited, like not playing the game with, by myself, but I'm excited to bring this one out for my niece and nephews because I mean they're 11, 9, and 6, and I think that they're going to enjoy this so much as well. And you know, there's enough in here for older people to play it. Like I would not be bored playing it with my friends at all. Obviously I'm also in my 40s, but I think just as much this is just as good for the kids, and the kids can get into it. I'm very excited to bring this one for them.
So, thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Volcar thanks you, the three-mouthed god. Now I can say his name because the Kickstarter started that.
The three-mouthed god.
Yeah.
And this thing is so, like, I was trying, and we asked about this. If you flick the marble a certain way or a different way, will it come out different portions of it? But no, it really randomizes it when it gets to the bottom.
I have not seen anyone master it. I've seen people try.
As you can see there, it kind of shoots down, and then there's a little bump that it hits, and then it kind of flips either out of one of these three directions. And these marbles are going everywhere, and it is a lot of fun.
So, sorry we didn't get to all your questions. I saw some going by that we just didn't get to, but...
No, if you want to answer, if you saw one specifically you want to answer...
No, I don't remember. I just noticed that there
now.
were a couple that went by, and I apologize. It was not... we just have a limited amount of time here, and I don't want to take away slots from anyone else, and I got to pack this game back up and get it back to JR. It's going to be in Cleveland tonight.
I might be taking this home with
No, you're
me.
not taking it home with you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Rob.
Okay, thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the tour and the success.
Thank you. All right, thanks.
Well, let's bring in the DeLorenzos here. So if you guys are fans of R&R games, here we are.
We need another chair.
Yeah, but it's going to be tight because we're doing...
back there.
Yeah, just grab... So we have Frank's here, and Dan's about to jump in the back here. So what's going on now with R&R games? What do you guys have coming up in the near future? Obviously, in the... you did with us last year, in the last 2 years actually, in our Kickstarter, lots of Time's Up stuff, and Time's Up has been the thing. Right. What else is on the radar now? You've been doing a lot more Euro games more recently.
Now we tend to do Euro games every year. We just only do 1, 2, or 3 of them. That's about it. You know, it's not our main focus, but we love our strategy games. So. We always have to have some big name game come out for Essen at least, and probably another one if we can get it out in time for Origins, which we're doing this year.
Yes.
Because we have Cluster Rwanda coming out this year.
Yes.
That'll be available at Origins, and party games, of course. We're doing lots of party games. We have a new one coming out again at Origins called Cave Paintings, and. We have a new version of First and Goal for later in the year.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different games and some other little smaller games in between there.
So, let's see. Peter has a question here. Maybe I'm going to be the one. They're always trying to guess what R&R is. Now, Tom has been a failure at this. Can you tell me what it is? You can tell me secretly, and then I will never tell Tom, I promise.
Okay. I'll tell you. Ready?
I only heard static there. I've only heard static, but I thought I was cooler than Tom might get the information, but no, the contest is still going on for this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been going on for 21 years, and there are various people that have gotten certain clues. They found some of the clues, not all of the clues have been found. There's plenty of stuff that's been put out there. There's plenty of stuff that's been all over the place. It's online, it's in the games, it's in places you gotta go find it.
Yeah, so interesting question here. About First and Goal, I see Dan has a question about doing non-stickered versions of dice, I guess more like heat steel dice,
Okay,
which
so
seems to be popular now.
The current production for the last 2 editions of First and Goal have had non-sticker dice.
There you go.
Yeah.
You just need to upgrade your thing and get a new version.
The problem has always been the expansion sets for First and Goal. Those have been sticker dice just because we haven't been able to figure out a way to make them cost effective without stickers.
Yeah.
So, to keep the price point at a reasonable price point, that's tough. That's a tough call with that many different dice.
Yes, I know. So if you could think of a way to make it cheaper, Dan, then you know.
Part of the problem with the expansion
send in your
sets
thing.
is that you have a symbol of the team has to be on the dice.
Yes,
somewhere.
yes.
Unless we went boring and tried just a letter, or a number, I guess that's always a possibility, but that kind of takes away from that.
Exactly. I mean, you want to see the cool picture
Right.
on it. It's part of the game. We're getting some guesses here. Rabbis and Revolution.
No.
Good one.
That was a good one, John. So your party games. Let's talk some more about them. Actually, before we do, I see a very interesting question. Have you ever thought about a legacy version of Hanabi or doing more with Hanabi?
I haven't, no. The only thing we've thought about with Hanabi is doing a different version of the deluxe Hanabi. There's a lot of people that want the deluxe Hanabi. It's out of stock at the moment. And unfortunately, we're trying to figure out a way to keep the price where it is, but prices have gone up on plastic. So we're having a little tough time there.
Yeah, those came with the really nice like mahjong tiles.
Yeah.
Which was
So we've thought
really
about doing
nice.
it with wooden tiles. It'd be a little bit different, but that might be one solution.
Maybe making the wood tiles slightly larger than the deluxe version.
Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. I love that version. That's the version that I play with all the time now because the look of the mahjong tiles is just gorgeous.
It's just really nice.
So it's a nice way to play with it. So tell us some more about your new party games because I'd like to hear about them. I mean, I obviously love your party games.
Thanks. One of the most fun ones we have is the one coming out really soon called Cave Paintings. It's basically you're going to have some words in front of you. Everyone has a set of words in front of them, and you have about 60 seconds to draw those words. Problem is, you're a cave painter, so you don't draw very well. So you have to hold your pen in your fist, and you're drawing like this, very fast, trying to make simple drawings that people can, figure out, and hope that, in the end, people are going to be able to figure out what you drew.
I used to draw like this all the time when I was in.
So you should have no problem.
In cooking school, like spinning the thing to make your food mix or something.
It's really funny what people come up with. I mean, and some people, it's amazing what they come up with. They draw and they do a great job. And other people, it might as well be scribbling, and you're like, I think that's.
Yeah. No, it sounds really interesting. I mean, I love games where you have to do things that are out of the norm, and you're going to get some really silly looking things.
Right.
So this should be very interesting to play. Do you have it here?
We do. Yeah, we have an early pre-production sample here that we're playing, and people are laughing their heads off at night. So
I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be laughing and playing it this week. The audience knows, like, everyone has been coming on. I'm like, so what do you have here? I can't wait to play it. So now I've got another one. I already played your Euro game already.
Costa Rwanda?
Yes.
Yeah, how'd you like that?
I did like it. You're kind of, for those who don't know, in this game you're kind of you're sending
your natives out to basically go collect treasures from the islands because that's what you do as a native. You have nothing else to do but get the treasures off these islands. The problem is all the other tribes are trying to send their natives to get them at the same time.
Yes, and it's kind of I'd say an area control majority game,
Yes,
and
that's
it's
exactly what it is.
It has a bluffing element to it as well.
Yes.
Because some of the cards that you play are face down, so you don't really know if that's a good card or a bad card. And I can play it in front of me, or I can play it in front of you.
I know, and then you're like, oh, I really played a good card for him. Let me sneak in there later, or I played a card from the wrong color on him.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a very interesting.
Part of what makes it interesting is that there's one person who's the shaman each turn, and they have the ability to tell which cards will be the active cards for the round, and you won't know until all the cards are played. So what's going to happen is when they make that choice, you could have actually banked on the fact that I think he's going to pick this color as the active card, and put something really bad in front of you that you don't know.
Yeah, I like it. In fact, I've been saying, your Euro line has been very good. I mean, there's a shout out here talking about specifically how much they love Raja of the Ganges and Om, and you've been doing a lot of partnering with Hook lately on all of this.
We have another game coming out with them at Essen this year. It's going to be Humboldt's Great Voyage. Another one with a very unique method, unique mechanic of play, which I really like.
Oh, good. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
And Hook's here too. Did you guys bring that one out here, or is that something that you show them later?
We've been playing it here. Yeah.
Something else for my slate. I'm gonna have too many games to play at this rate. Let me see if there's any other questions here.
Should probably mention we're looking at the Mangrove Village expansion for Rogers as well.
Oh, did you guys hear that?
That's right.
Only here at the Dice Tower Live are you going to hear about breaking news. An expansion for Raja the Ganges should be coming out this year, next year, soon.
We're hoping by the end of this year. Yeah.
By the end of this year. So if you like Rajas, this is your chance for more. There's going to be an expansion for it, which is great. Great. Let me see. We have a few guesses that I've seen. So let me go through our guesses here, so everyone gets a chance to win this contest. Roll and re-roll.
Oh no. Sorry.
Ron and Robert.
No.
Rock and roll.
Oh, that's a oldie but a goodie, but no.
Hi, Jason.
No, I don't think that's it either.
I don't either, but it's always a pleasure having you guys on.
Thank you.
And for us, we've been so happy with the Time's Up. I don't know if you saw our last. We did during our 36 hour. We used all the new cards, all the Dice Tower specific cards.
Nice, that's right.
And we had a blast with it.
Fantastic.
So it's always great. I mean, we have some great stories from every time we play that game, and
wow. It's such a great game.
Do you guys have more for it? Do you have more planned for it in the near
future? We do, yeah.
future?
We have other versions planned. We're still working on the family version. We're working on a kids version. We're doing more expansion sets. It's just, it's a bit of work because you gotta get the content right. You gotta get enough of the fresh content in there. So even have an Australian version of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Very excited for this. Well, thank you guys, the DeLorenzo Brothers here.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on, and looking forward to all these great things that are coming out in the future. Oh, rinse and repeat, rest and relaxation.
Oh, that's one of the most popular answers.
Warmer.
But all wrong.
Rest and revolver.
All I can say is you gotta follow the path. You gotta find the clues.
I'm hoping one day, like in your will, it gives the answer or something. There has to be an answer.
The answer is literally in like a vault. It's in a safe deposit box.
Is it? So we will find out one day.
One day.
One day. Hopefully not anytime soon.
Hopefully somebody wins the prize, because it's a great prize.
Roll and rumble. Eat, sleep, rinse and repeat.
Excellent answer.
Excellent answer, but you guys are all wrong. So roll and write. Spelled the wrong way, of course.
Of course.
Anyway, thank you guys for coming on. I can see our
Always
next guest over there.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Matt Leacock. So if
Take
you guys
care.
have any questions for Matt, start getting them ready. And regurgitate and recooperate.
Oh no, my God, no.
Round and ridiculous.
No.
Rest and revenue.
No, much better than
Sorry, guys, it's too late to guess. Here comes Matt to join us. Matt's over here. Let's bring him in and welcome.
Thanks.
And obviously, you've been having a lot of success this year, not just with Legacy 2, and I guess officially that would be last year, but we're going to consider it in this scope. Legacy 2 and the Rising Tide version. You've had a lot that you've been going on lately with
Yeah, a
pandemic.
lot going on with pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell me more about this for the audience who doesn't know. You kind of came up with this idea where the Pandemic World Championships are every year, and you've been doing a game for this.
Yeah, working with F2Z at the time, they came up with this pandemic survival series of games. So the World Championship for Survival, which is like a 2-player competitive version of Pandemic. Mm-hmm. That World Championship location changes from year to year. And so what I do is I partner up with a game designer from the host country each year and come up with a new version of Pandemic.
Oh, that sounds great. And what country is it this year?
This year it'll be Italy.
Italy. So you guys heard that first. Are you allowed to talk about the designer yet or not?
Well, I can say, Paolo Mori and I.
Paolo Mori. So if you guys like Libertalia, he's done a lot of good games. So this is going to be a very exciting exciting combination here, I think. The last one was very exciting with Jerome doing the Netherlands, but this sounds even more exciting in Italy.
I actually met Jeroen here a couple years ago.
Oh, really? Is that how it came about?
I was looking for a Dutch game designer. I was racking my brain over it. I didn't know any, and then I realized, wait, I do. I guess he had play tested Panda Legacy Season 2, and I sat next to him for like 12 hours, and then I just saw him, and I'm like, why did that take so long?
There's a Dutch guy right here.
So that was a lot of fun working with him on that.
Oh no, I mean that one came out great with the water coming in, and it gave a different style. It still felt pandemic, but it gave a very different style.
Right. Yeah, the water can just rush over the whole country if you're not careful.
Yeah. So, Johan has a question here.
Yeah.
How is Pandemic Legacy Season 3 coming?
It's coming along.
I've seen you play testing it with groups over here.
Yeah, we had 3 groups blind testing it here. Rob and I are making progress.
Yes, it should be exciting. People are, and I can see a comment here from Kabuki Kid that Season 2 was more enjoyable than Season 1 even.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad people enjoyed it. We took some risks with the design. We wanted to explore some new things. We didn't want to regurgitate the same things over and over again. So,
exactly.
Yeah, you should expect new things in 3 as well. So.
Exactly. So how far do you plan to go with it? Is 3 going to be the end, or
3 feels like a really nice solid number to end on, at least for a while. We don't want to get too samey, and we want people to be able to absorb the content. So I expect we'll do 3 and then take a breath. Maybe that'll be it, or I don't know. Maybe we'll get re-energized and into it again in the future. Not sure.
They're already coming up with guesses on this. Pandemic Pompeii, Pandemic Pizza.
Nailed it right there.
Pandemic Pizza, you guys nailed it. Pandemic Legacy prequel with politics. They're coming up with all these guesses here on what else you're going to be doing in the pandemic world. Let's see what we have here. Pandemic Sicily. Are you allowed to talk more about it, or are you still not far in the process to talk about it?
Yeah.
So let's see here. If you ever go to Africa, or if there's an African World Championship, African Pandemic.
Actually, there's a Mole Rats in Space tournament happening in Uganda in a couple months, which is kind of funny.
I see a question here that was good. Let me get back to it here and see. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, here you go. Here's a good one.
Here.
I know. And then you have to scroll and find them. So here's an interesting question from Otto. If you were to summarize your own style in designing games, what would it be?
I like to make games where you can be really creative and do a lot of creative problem solving with your friends. I think that's where I get the most joy.
Yeah, because obviously Pandemic is more of a puzzly kind of game, and it's interesting to see that.
It's important that there's both I like emergent problems that evolve and change in unexpected ways and kind of make a compelling story in that regard. And then ways you have to be scrappy and innovative and just kind of pull things together as a team in order to win. That's where I really enjoy it. That design space is really
Exactly. So Dan's asking a question about any new information on Forbidden Sky yet.
Forbidden Sky is due at Gen Con this year, so I just signed up on Final Art, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that sucker.
Nice. It should be really good.
I'm really excited about it. It took I did maybe 3 or 4 false starts on the 3rd game. A lot of them were perfectly fine games, but they didn't really stand apart. They didn't really. It was hard to say why you should get this versus that. Why should I have both? And so I had to keep kind of hammering at it and finally I think I cracked it, and I'm really excited for people to check it out.
Well, I know some people know about it, some people don't. So do you want to talk more about it so the people
it's in the sky. I think that's all we've seen so far. I'm sorry.
I tried to get more. Sorry,
Game
guys.
Rights held it a little bit close to the chest, and they're gonna, reveal a little bit more information over time. But it shouldn't be too long now. I mean, August isn't that far away.
Here we go. A couple of other questions. What was it like working with Rob on all of these legacy games?
Yeah. Well, Rob's great to work with. I think we have very complementary skill sets, and we just got kind of a rhythm going. I mean, we've been working together for 5 years now. It's crazy to think. So we meet 2 or 3 times a week, and we both bring different things to the table, and it's been a joy.
Yeah, and here's another question. Peter's asking, would you ever venture into escape room style games?
Escape room?
Yeah, escape room.
Oh, maybe. I don't have a whole lot of experience in puzzle games, and there's such a big literature of those games out there that I feel kind of like a newbie, and I'm afraid I would go out there and make lots of rookie mistakes, and people would, there would be a big learning curve there for me before I could really be confident and put out a product that people would get excited about. I think. But yeah, I think those would be fun. I've played Exit and some of the other escape room in the box kind of games. And I enjoyed those.
Yeah, it would be an interesting kind of escape roomy kind of puzzle game, because obviously your game's very puzzle-like anyway, so this would be a kind of a good
What's
mix.
missing for me is the emergence, having some sort of enemy that's coming at you and changing and morphing and
Yes.
And the fact that you can only play the one game once, kind of bugs me. In the Legacy game, you get a little bit of an arc to it, right?
Exactly.
From a design point of view, for me, wanting to put all that effort into it, and then a group only plays for 45 minutes, as opposed to playing it, which I enjoyed immensely.
Exactly. So, someone else is asking, with the write and roll craze, have you tried designing anything with write and roll yet?
Well, yeah, I did Roll Through the Ages, the Bronze Age.
That's true.
Close to 10 years ago. And I'm working pretty heavily in that space right now. Yeah.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Nothing quite to announce yet, but stay tuned. There's I'm having a lot of fun in that area.
Yeah. So if you like write and roll, there you go. There's more stuff coming out.
That style of play, I'm not going to guarantee that you're going to be writing anything, but we'll see. That's evolving.
Yes. We'll leave it at that, because I might have seen what was going on. But yes, if you like that style of game or using dice and doing things, Matt has something up his sleeve coming out.
Sometime.
Sometime. Oh, here you go. Jordan just said, you did roll and write before it was cool.
Oh, that's nice.
You're like the grandfather of roll and write, I guess.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah. I wanted to get a game with a pegboard in it because I just love pegboards.
Yes.
I discovered cribbage pegboards when I was a kid. Never played cribbage. And when I found out what you did with a pegboard, I was crushed. I was really disappointed.
That all it was, all the pegboard was to keep your score?
Pencil and paper.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I never played cribbage with a pegboard. I would always just be marking in groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 slash. 1, 2, 3, 4 slash.
Right.
Oh, well, you're getting a lot of shout-outs now about Roll Through the Ages, because everyone forgot about that. So let's see, what else? We have, let's see. We'll find some questions here and get to them. What have you enjoyed? Have you played games at the Gathering too, or have you been mostly showing off your games, or what have you enjoyed here?
I've played a couple of card games. I got a game of Quartermaster General in.
Oh!
It was fun. And it was great. It was a 6-player game, and I normally play that head-to-head with my dad, and it's just a brain-burning exercise, because we're min-maxing every little thing, making these master plans. And this is a fairly light World War II game.
Yes!
I mean, so I played it with 6, and it was really fun and light and snappy. So, and it was just happy to be able to play a game that wasn't mine for a change. So that was, and then I totally botched it. I had this boondongle out in the Far East, and things just fell apart. It was all my fault.
I love that game. That's one of those underrated little light war games.
I really like that game.
And hopefully more people will find out about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those games that it's not in the popularity realm yet, but it should be, because most people don't want to play a heavy war game. It's nice to kind of
it's all card driven, very light.
Let me see what else we have here. Questions. Where are we? Is Forbidden Sky going to come out in the same style tin as the others? And are you?
Right, yeah. I can talk about that a little bit. It will be in a box because a couple of reasons. One, it's a little bit bigger, and another just to control for costs. And I think those are the main reasons. So it'll be in the line, same art style and so on. Same artist as Forbidden Island, so the artwork's coming in really nice.
Yeah,
it'll be in a box. I haven't heard anybody really disappointed about that. You can stack it just like any other game in your collection.
Exactly. No, I mean that it won't be in the same tin, but it'll be a normal shaped box probably, right?
Yeah, it'll be square.
Perfect. Let's see what else we have here for you. We got a lot of questions, so I'm trying to go through and find the best ones here. So what got you interested in designing games? Kabuki Kid's asking this.
I think a couple things. I mean, when I played games when I was a kid, and I always had a lot of expectation for the kind of fun I would have out of the box. And a lot of the games I played as a kid were really pretty terrible, and so I thought I could do better. So I did a lot of modding as a kid. But I also played Avalon Hill Civilization, and that just kind of like fired all these things in my brain and got really interested in interlocking mechanisms and things like that.
Yeah.
So that really motivated me and got me into the hobby more than anything. And I just wanted to like see if I could do something like that.
Yeah, and Peter asked, any more party game ideas?
No, not right now.
Not right now. Party games are not in the forefront.
I got a lot in the queue, but no party games right now.
Let's see what else we have here. Since you do a lot of collaborations, who that you haven't collaborated with would you be interested in collaborating with?
Yeah, that's interesting. I've had a lot of fun just working with designers that I've just met. Like discovering new people, and I'd be happy to work with established designers, but there's just so much talent out there. I worked with Jesus Torres Castro from Spain, and I just met him socially, and we started collaborating. It was just this joy. So
yeah.
I don't have any like aspirations to someday I'll work with this person or that person. Although I enjoy that. I've just been enjoying meeting all sorts of new people from different cultures and collaborating.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it all has come naturally, like the way your story for Jerome, how you just he was playtesting season 2, and then all of a sudden it turned into,
yeah,
I could work
and with Paulo, I just asked around a little bit, because I was looking for an Italian game designer, and I got a reference, and reached out, and it's been great to work with. So it's a nice community, and that I don't think people are really in it for the money so much as the love of the games, and so I feel like I've been kind of lucky with all these co-designs. I had really great collaborators.
Yeah, no, I mean, all the games have been great and very different. Is that important for you that at each of these come out that they have a very different style?
Yeah, I mean, I think people don't want to buy the same game twice, and you want to say, well, you don't want this game to fire that game, people have that conversation. And it's more interesting for me. So, I want people to have a reason to have it in their collection, and I want to be engaged in it too, so.
Exactly. I mean,
you could just build the walls here.
I've been enjoying them, like the fact that each game is slightly different and has one new mechanic or maybe two new mechanics. So you get new mechanics, you get new things every single time.
Yeah, there's enough that's familiar that you can kind of get it in running, but there's enough that's different that you want to go explore that space.
Exactly.
So you can get going really quickly.
Exactly. So Kabuki Kid's asking another question here. Any tries at micro games or doing like small little?
I'm interested in that because I like reducing things and making things as simple as possible. I don't have any serious attempts right now that I'm working on, but yeah, there's definitely interest there.
Yeah, and Trevor just said, I kid you not, and you're Matt Leacock. Of course people want to work with you.
Oh.
I just embarrassed you there,
yeah,
right?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
I guess another good question here is, are there any genres that you haven't done that you want to really work with in a game?
I'm not really driven so much by genre as I am by like the type of experience, the type of emotion I want to evoke. So I can't really point to say something and say, I really want to do this setting or that sort of thing. It's more like I want to the energy or excitement I want to create for players, and then I kind of work backward into like, okay, what kind of dynamics is that going to take? And what kind of stuff do I have to put in the box to generate that? So I work back from there.
Exactly. I was talking with someone the other day. It's funny because we were talking about like stages of gaming and what games kind of made like the next level, like how when Settlers came out it introduced yours, and we were talking about Pandemic, and we were saying how co-ops weren't really a thing until Pandemic came out. And when you made it, were you thinking, I want to make a good co-op? at the time, what were you thinking? Did you imagine that, now many years later, you would have been the one to bring back co-ops, to make co-ops as popular as they are now?
No. I wanted to get a game published because I had not really gotten a game published, and I wanted to make a game that I could really enjoy with my wife. We play negotiation games and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those can lead to like difficult situations where you have to choose, between. There's interesting social situations that some games can provoke. Like you don't want to play diplomacy with your closest loved ones necessarily, right? And so I really liked playing Konieczka's Lord of the Rings, and I loved how we felt good playing that together, regardless of whether we won or lost.
Yes.
And that game actually showed me that cooperative games could be a thing. Before that, I thought it was just like something you did to teach kids good manners or something like that. But that was engaging. It was like, so I wanted to give that a try.
Yeah. It's very interesting because now there's so many co-op games coming out, but back then there's very few, and you kind
Ghost
of
Stories and Lord of the Rings, and I'm trying to think. Shadows over Camelot.
Exactly.
Not too many,
And some of them, like Shadows, had the whole backstabbing in it too, so it wasn't quite a straight one. And then now it's like people want co-op games now, and I never would have guessed that a few years ago that co-ops would be cool again, and you really made them cool with this.
Well, I can't take credit for it necessarily, but yeah, I mean they're definitely on the scene. They're definitely a big thing to watch. It's fun to see how many games now have a cooperative component.
Yeah, and it's so besides the cooperative games, what things have you been working on lately?
Yeah, so most of it has been different games in the Pandemic universe, the Forbidden universe, and then this new rolling thing. I've also got a dexterity game that I've been working on.
Oh, nice.
I just got a laser printer or not a laser printer.
A 3D one?
No, a laser cutter.
Oh, a laser cutter.
Laser cutter.
Ooh.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, and it's the most fun I've had in a long time. It was like getting my first laser writer printer. It's like this whole new world. So I've been enjoying making like three-dimensional components and exploring like the tactile nature of things, because that's one thing that really separates board games from digital games. Mm-hmm. So this dexterity game that I've got a collaborator for that as well. So it's been really fun to explore that space.
Yes, I mean I love dexterity games. That's another one that I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
But I know you're rolling, maybe right, maybe not. I've been seeing it, so hopefully before you leave here, I'll get a chance to play it with you.
I just gave the pieces to the publisher. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess the good news is there is a game being published. No, it's a pleasure having you on as always.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for coming, and we're looking forward to everything in the Forbidden World, the Pandemic. We're looking forward to everything that's coming out. If you guys have any very last questions, I'll get one last question in if I see one. And if not, then I'm gonna let Matt go. And I haven't seen Corey yet, so I'll spend a few minutes with you guys until Corey comes, or we might just wrap it up in case he might still be in bed or be late or something. But thank you so much for coming, and looking forward to the next game coming out.
Take care, Jason.
So, okay, now it's me alone for a few minutes. I'm going to stay here, and you can ask me questions again. So keep going and ask me a few questions until Corey gets here, and hopefully we'll have him. In fact, here he comes right now. So if you have questions for Corey, this is the perfect time. Let's bring him in. And
how's it going, Jason?
Very good. So we just finished with Matt, and here's Corey. So obviously you do so much at Fantasy Flight. You've been involved with games there for years and years, and you kind of do a little of everything. You've done solo games, you've done games, you've worked with other designers. And what has the process been like? It's a very collaborative environment there.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big advantages to working at FFG is we just have so many talented people there that are designers and graphics people and art people and like people with lots of good opinions and thoughts about our games. Like I've always worked at FFG in my professional career, so I can't even imagine what it's like for an outside designer to like not be constantly getting that feedback from these other people that are just always around. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's you work in a design house where it's not. Most design houses are really small. There's like one person, maybe two people working. You work in a design house with lots and lots of people, so you get a lot of feedback on everything.
Yeah, get lots of feedback very fast. We can iterate frequently and often, and I guess that's the same word.
So frequently and often. That's pretty amazing. So we're starting to get questions here. So let me see what we have so far. I guess Otter's asking, with all the stuff that has been released for Mansions of Madness by now, are there any in-jokes embedded in it that game fans might not know that you guys are putting inside of it?
In-jokes? We don't really do that too much. Like nowadays, the other people are working on the Mansions of Madness line. But I don't know, we did a lot of fun stuff in the first edition, but I could tell all sorts of stories about that, but I can't think of any in-jokes really.
So the answer is no. They're staying straight Cthulhu mythology on this. No in-jokes. How many years? Board Game Fangirl's asking. How many years have you actually been with FFG?
So it's 12, going on 13. So yeah.
So that's a long time to be with the company, and you've worked on many projects over those years.
Yeah. At least, I want to say dozens, but it may be just shy of that.
So when you're there doing it, does like Christian come to you and say, here's the different things, which one do you want to work on, or does he say this is one you're working on? How do you get to decide which ones you're involved in?
I mean, we plan out our schedule years in advance, and it's a mix of like licenses that we've gotten and various other just like ideas that we've had in the back of our mind, and then it's about finding the right people that are available at the right time to work on the right project. So,
yeah, obviously, Kabuki Kid's asking a bunch of questions, which I know you won't be able to answer about future projects because you guys don't talk about the future projects.
Sorry, can't talk about unannounced stuff.
Exactly. For me, I saw Star Wars Rebellion. That has been, I don't know if you saw, but I just did my new top 100, and Star Wars Rebellion made it into my top 10. And
wow!
It actually,
awesome.
I think I had it at number 6 of all time because I loved the design of this one, and you really did a lot with the expansion, making the combat even more impressive in it. And how much fun was it? Because that one is one that you basically were the solo designer on, as opposed to co-designing. What was the experience like?
It was great. I mean, anytime you get to work on a license that you love, like, it's just fantastic. It's a dream come true. I mean, people say that. It sounds cliche, but it's true. I mean, in that particular one, like, every once in a while you'll be working on a game where it just feels right and everything just kind of comes together. And sure, it iterated and changed over time, but I felt like with that game, really early on, it just started to come together, like the way that we're using the leaders and the missions and all that sort of stuff, and it just gelled like almost right away. And so it made my life easy, and I'm so happy that it's been such a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, you had everything going for it. You had the IP, and you had an amazing game there too. So you had everything going for it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have questions here. I guess people are asking about Forbidden Stars because that one is kind of out of print now, and
yeah, we don't do Games Workshop stuff anymore.
So. Yes, that's right. That's right. So if you're wondering about all the Games Workshop stuff, which I see a bunch of questions here about, I guess part of the reason is because Games Workshop isn't working with Fantasy Flight anymore. So that answered by Forbidden Stars will not come back.
No, they're all doing their own thing. I mean, we're on good terms and everything, but.
Yep, in fact, someone actually wrote that right after that. Yep. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, how do you pronounce your name, and where's the ancestry from?
Yeah, it's Polish. I see somebody mentioning that. We pronounce it Konieczka. I don't know if I were to live in Poland, if that's how they would pronounce it, but that's how I've heard it ever since I was a kid, so Konieczka. Just remove all the Z's and stuff.
Yeah. So there you go. If you wanted the history of Corey and his name, there you go. So currently, obviously, the big thing you've been working on is Star Wars, but in the past you've also worked on a lot of other things like Eldritch Horror, etc. And what projects have been kind of your favorites, or what games have been your favorites that you've worked on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that usually my answer is whatever I'm working on right now, because that's how you stay excited about it. But I mean, Battlestar Galactica is probably my first big hit, and so that'll always have a special place in my heart. And I also love the social deduction elements of it.
Yes.
So that's probably one of my favorites. I mean, Star Wars Rebellion too, but there have just been so many over the years. I feel like if I don't say them, that I'm not giving it enough love. But no, I like every game that I worked on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have wanted to get it published. So.
Yeah, exactly. People are asking, which I know you probably won't be able to answer, but they're asking about if Battlestar will ever come back. I know the show's, when it came out, obviously the show was a hit, but now the show is kind of in everyone's back burner. It's not as popular as it was, but is there thoughts of kind of bringing it back, or just reprinting it, or putting it back into population, the game?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of our products right now that we no longer hold the license for, but so I know recently people have been trying to find copies of it on eBay and whatnot, or whatever, so it's a great game. I can't really speak to its future, but...
Well, there you go. There's the answer about Battlestar Galactica. Why you're wondering why it hasn't come back in print, even though it's such a great game, is because of the licensing issues. I mean, it must.
An issue licenses just.
Yeah, licenses come and go,
yeah.
exactly, and then whether they do it. Obviously, right now your big license. Well, in the company you have the Arkham licenses, or Arkham doesn't need to be licensed necessarily, but you have all the Arkham, and you have Star Wars, which is being licensed, and you have You're still doing Lord of the Rings stuff, right? Or not so much anymore?
I mean, we do the Lord of the Rings card game right now, which has been going strong for many years. And so, I mean, we try to do a good mix of licensed games, and we try to do our proprietary stuff. And so we've got like Descent, and that's like our fantasy world of Terranok stuff. And then we also have like Arkham Horror, and that's one of our proprietary. We've got the Android IP, and so we're always trying to build our own brands, but also do the licensed stuff too, because it's fun.
It's fun, exactly, and especially when things become back in style, and like movies come out, and all of a sudden something that wasn't popular for a few years becomes popular again.
Sure,
it's been a perfect time for that.
Yeah.
But you've also had like TI4 came out, and I know Sam was so excited about that, to have a new version of that come out as well, which was a big surprise.
That was a beast. We worked on it for years. We'd been planning it for a long time, and I'm thrilled that it's finally out and that it's been received really well.
Okay, let's go through a few more questions here. I guess, interesting. Let's see. If I saw something about Fantasy Flight relocating. If Fantasy Flight relocated to Minnesota, where would you like to go?
I don't know. I mean, sure, you're asking me today after we got like a foot of snow 2 days ago. Like, sure, I would like to not have to shovel my driveway in April. I mean, but I'm happy where I am. I mean, sure, there's always a dream that I'd live somewhere warmer, but I grew up in New England. I'm used to it. It's part of the charm, the change of the seasons and everything.
So I see another question here. What game from your childhood was one of your favorites and helped get you interested in designing?
Sure. No, that's a question I get sometimes. Growing up, we used to play a lot of board games with my family, and we play a lot of the traditional things that you'd expect. But the one game that stood out to me was Sid Saxon's Acquire game, which I know a lot of people around here are very familiar with, but I still get a copy of it and break it out every once in a while. I brought it with me here to the gathering, and so that game kind of has a special place in my heart. It was very different than kind of the other games that were out at the time, and I don't know, it really felt ahead of its time.
It did. I mean, Acquire is one of my favorites. Acquire was also in my top 100.
Oh yeah, that's
yes.
Awesome.
I think that's still one of his best designs.
Yeah,
it's a great little game, great little stock. Crashing the companies and sucking up the companies.
Yeah, it's a very mathy economic game, which doesn't seem like the sort of thing that I'd be into. But yeah, I grew up with it.
Let's see what else.
Stuff flooding in.
Yes, lots of them flooding in and trying to get them. Let me find the next question here.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Another interesting one is, what were some of your favorite books from your childhood, and how did they kind of inspire you to get into this creative design world?
Sure. Oh gosh. I remember growing up reading like some fantasy and sci-fi. Like I read the Wheel of Time series and like some Stephen King, and so I mean, I guess there's some of that horror stuff. I've worked on mansions and Eldritch and whatnot. Like I like those supernatural type things and sci-fi. I'm a big fan of sci-fi. I'm reading The Expanse right now. It's a good book series.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
So here's another question from Trevor. What hobbies do you enjoy outside of board gaming?
Sure. I mean, I enjoy reading. I have like playing video games too. You know, movies. I like movies. Going out to movies.
a little of everything.
Yeah.
I know apps have been a big thing. Have you thought about working more with apps in games? Obviously, with the video game, with loving video games as much as I do, and a lot of people are doing apps games. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've done quite a few of them at FFG. I mean, Mansion of Madness 2nd Edition was our attempt to, like, take the heart of Mansions and just make it easier to play it by using an app. And we did the apps for Imperial Assault and for Descent. And so it's always something that we're looking at. It can do some things really well, and there are some things that it can't do as well. And so I don't know. It's something we'll always consider.
Yeah, I mean, I love the apps games. I even like the XCOM one that Eric did for you guys.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good uses of apps, which a few years ago apps were not even a thing, and now all of a sudden we're getting the mix of video games with board games all at once.
Yeah, it's tricky because you want the attention to be on the people that you're sitting around the table playing with. You don't want everybody just like staring at their phones, but at the same time you can use them to do really cool things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. I mean, you've got a computer there that you can take advantage of, and it has memory, and it can do all sorts of really interesting things. And so it's great, and you know. I'm sure at some point I'll work on a game with an app component, but who knows when.
Yeah. So we're getting another question here about what genre that you haven't worked with, or what license would you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Gosh. I mean, licenses are always a hard thing. Like, it's not really something that's in my control. I mean, as far as genres that I'd like to work with, I don't know. Like, I feel like I like to design different games. Like, I don't want a game that I make to just be a rehash of something else that I worked on, and so I kind of branch out, do a lot of different things. The only thing that I don't really work on myself is RPGs. Like, I played some RPGs growing up. I saw somebody ask a question like, "Did you play any D&D?" Like, I played some as a kid, and I haven't played an RPG in, well, I was going to say in years, but I have played one more recent than that. It's not normally what I go to, but I like the inspirations that I get from that. Like a lot of games that FFG makes, we make games that tell stories, and so I think we can take a lot of things from role-playing and find a way to put it in board game form. I mean, working on Descent 2nd Edition was a good example of that, where, like, Kevin Wilson made the first Descent. It was awesome. He did a great job. I was fortunate enough to be able to be part of the team working on 2nd Edition, and I was trying to capture kind of the dungeon crawl elements and the light role-playing that you get in that sort of game. So
yeah, so I just saw an interesting question about what are the pros and cons of working in such a big company?
I mean, the pros, you got a huge support system. You've got like talented designers, artists, graphics teams. I mean, the cons is just that there's always so much going on. Like, the amount of games that we send to the printer every week, like, it's just there's always something going on, and there's always a fire, and there's always something to be worried about. And so that's part of my job, is to stay on top of that stuff, and it can get overwhelming sometimes, but I mean, it's what keeps the lights on. So,
and it's what's keep all of us entertained as well, because you've been making a lot of great stuff, so you're entertaining everyone as well.
Sure.
So, no, it's great. I mean, it's been an interesting few years for your company. It's grown and expanded a lot.
Yeah, we have. Since I started there, I want to say it's grown almost tenfold. It's just so many more people.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Have you? I guess this is more a question for me. Have you thought about branching out into other areas of the company now that Asmodee has so many different studios? Have you thought about branching out into other areas than just Fantasy Flight and working with some of the other parts?
I mean, I'm friends with the other studios. I mean, the guys from Z-Man are here with us, and some people from Asmodee, and I'm good friends with the Plaid Hat guys, and so we all get along. We're one big happy family. But I'm FFG through and through. I mean, if I ever came up with an idea that wasn't a good fit for FFG, maybe I'd talk to one of the other studios. But that's really where my focus is.
Yeah. Here's another interesting question. Speaking of paying the bills, if you didn't make games, what else would you have liked to do for a living?
Gosh. Well, before I started FFG, I was a graphic designer. So I went to school for graphic design. Nice. I worked at a print broker for a couple of years. So I bet that if I hadn't gotten hired at FFG, I'd probably still be doing graphic design. I still like it. I get to do some graphics at work. I mean, we use all the same software, so it was good to know those skills. It translated well.
Yes, exactly. Let's see. Do you enjoy painting minis? Do you, obviously, with the art background, do you like doing other things like painting minis and doing that?
I mean, I like the technical side of graphic design. I've tried painting minis a couple of times. I don't think I'm very good at it, and so every once in a while, a game will come out with really cool minis. And I'm like, oh man, should I try painting again? And maybe someday I'll find the time to give it a second chance. But it was never my strength.
Yeah, we our in-house painter Vernon from the Dice Tower. He actually painted. Last year he painted the whole Rebellion set, which ended up on the prize table.
Oh, nice.
And I brought that in. And this year he painted the expansion.
Okay.
Rise of the Empire. So you'll see if you're going to be here during the end of the week, which I don't know if you are, but you'll see the expansion all painted and gorgeous, and he does some nice work on your game.
Yeah, I'm jealous of those people. Wish I could do that.
Yeah. Anyway, no, we won't ask that. Actually, maybe we will. Who would you rather fight, 3 of me or 1 of Tom?
I don't know. Sure, numbers thing. I think I'd rather fight 1 Tom than 3 of you.
There you go, Tom. I think there's going to be some. I'm going to set this up, boxing match, Corey versus Tom, and we're going to set this up as a thing outside of the gaming center. We'll see what we can do. But no, it's been a pleasure having you and talking about all the things you've done. And, obviously you have a lot of fans here that have been saying some good things along the way.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's been a pleasure having you on today, Corey.
Awesome. Thanks Jason. Thanks everyone.
So that was Corey Konieczka, and I'm just going to wrap it up here since we're coming to the end of the live thing. If you guys have any quick questions, just shoot a few things here, and I'll spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll wrap it up because I have games to play, so I want to get out of there or get out of here soon. So let me. I'll have to tell Corey that later, Adar. But any other questions for me now? I don't see many, so I think we're going to wrap it up here from the gathering. Have you guys enjoyed so far? Let me know in the comments if you're enjoying these. We have more designers tomorrow. Let me see who's on my list tomorrow. I have Daryl Andrews, who's been a hot designer, Eric Lang, Ziv Schlesinger, Stephen Bonacor. And it should be a good show tomorrow. And tomorrow we're actually going out for a mini golf and other thing day, so we're pretty excited. Let's leave it. Oh, favorite game that I've played here so far. I got to play Detective, as you heard yesterday. Definitely one of my favorite games. And yes, Otter, I've been immortalized. I have a championship Midgard, my own figure, J Lev, and a few other. I'm seeing the questions go by. What's my favorite game of 2018? I'm not sure exactly yet. I played a lot of games that I've enjoyed, but I can't think off the top of my head. When I compile my list, you'll see my top 10 from 2018 at the end of the year. So that's where we are. Let me let you go. It was a pleasure having everyone. And, am I going to eat hot wings again? Yes. Let me yell over to that guy. Steven, they're asking me, are we going to eat hot wings again?
I already have. But,
you want to join for the close or not?
I could possibly get it. Maybe, definitely.
So I think we're doing hot wings again, it sounds like. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up now. So thank you guys for watching as usual. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning again for more from the gathering. Same time, 10 in the morning every day. And we're looking forward to seeing you then. Anyway, for now, this has been Jason Levine with the Dice Tower, bringing you designer interviews here from the gathering. Do 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 do.